Okay, let's talk about vectors and what's going on with vectors. So you're going to have problems like the ones given here. And number one says, sketch the given vectors. Determine the direction of two components by circling two directions, north, south, east, or west. Finally, indicate which components or effect is greatest in magnitude. So what the heck is going on here? Well, all you need to realize is that every time you jump from left, as we were to start here, and that's every time you jump, it's 90 degrees. So every one of these jumps is 90 degrees. In other words, this is 90 degrees. If I jump 90 more, 90 plus 90 is 180 degrees. If I jump another 90, it's 270 degrees. And if I jump another 90, it's 360 degrees. Okay? So every jump is 90. Okay, so why is this relevant? Well, if you understand this, then if I give you 300 degrees, right here, then that means, I said earlier, this is 270, right? So if we look, 300 has to lie somewhere here, because this angle here is 300 degrees. All right. Now the first question is, what are the components? Well, the components are where the vector shoots out. So we know the vector shoots down south, and the vector goes out east. This direction that the vector shoots out, that this purple, which is now red, shoots out, that's what the direction is. So in this first one, we're going to say it goes south, and we're also going to say it goes east. And so what I would encourage you to do now is pause the video and try to do exactly what I just did for number one, for 1A, I guess I'll call it A, B, C. What I did for A, I want you to try to do for B and C. Okay, don't worry about the greatest magnitude, just do that. So stop the video now and try to do that. Okay, so hopefully you've gone through now and you've tried B and C on your own. Again, I'm going to encourage you that just sitting here and copying my work isn't going to do anything, right? It's not going to help you. You need to understand it. The only way you're going to understand is by trying. So let's look at what we're going to do for number two. It says 265. So again, just like in number one, we can make the argument that 270 lies here. Okay, so if that's the case, and I want to find out for 265, then I know 265 is simply going to be a little less than 270. So I have something like this, not drawn to scale, but that's 265 degrees. So what's going on here? What are my components here? Well, clearly this is going south and then also west. So south, west. Okay. If we look at the next one, more of the same. So we look at it and we say, okay, 150. Well, we know 180 is here. Again, every time you jump 0 to 90, 90 plus 90 is 180, 180 plus 90 is 270, 270 plus 90 is 360, so 180 is right here. 150 is between 90 and 180, so it lies here. And this is 150 degrees. So the first bit is very simple. You just have to, and by the way, this is what? North and west, so north and west. So the first bit here is pretty straightforward. All you have to do is figure out where the vector is, and the angle tells you, and as long as you realize that every time you jump, these guys are called quadrants, every time you jump a quadrant, you're jumping 90 degrees. Okay? So there we have it. There's our first part. Now, what's the next part? It asks, what is the greatest magnitude? Now, in order for me to demonstrate this, we have 300. I'm going to need a little more space. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to redraw the picture. So you have something like this, and this is my angle, and it's 300 degrees. Okay. So what do I do here? Well, I know that if this is 270 right here, then this distance right here has to be 30. Well, how did I know that that had to be 30? Well, there's nothing fancy here. We know that the whole distance around is 300. And we know that this is 270, so 270 from 300 gives me 30 degrees. So that has to be, that's how I got the 30 degrees. Well, then the next question is well, then how do I know what this angle is? Well, this is more of the same, or if you think about it, the whole thing all the way around, if I was to go, let me change colors here. If I was to go all the way around, that'd be 360 degrees, right? So if I've gone only 300, 360 minus 300 gives me 60. Okay, so this yellow here is going to be 60. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, notice that these numbers make perfect sense. And why do these numbers make perfect sense? Because this whole distance here is 90 degrees. So 60 plus 30 is 90. Okay, so now we got something to work with. Now remember, let's go back to the question here. The question is asking us, what is the greatest magnitude? Okay, I know that, for example, in 1A, I know that this is 45 kilometers, right? But I don't know anything else, right? So how am I going to decide what's the greatest magnitude? By the way, when it says what's the greatest magnitude, it's saying is south the greatest magnitude, or is east the greatest magnitude? Okay, so let's think about this for a second. All right, I'm going to use this triangle here. The triangle you use is entirely up to you, but I like to use this. If you're taking pre-cal, these are called this is part of the reference angle. So this is 60 degrees. Okay, so if we look at the triangle, let me draw it up here again. Something like this. Clearly, I should drop everything and become an artist. Right? This is 60 degrees. That's sarcasm if you don't realize it. Okay, so that's 60 degrees. All right, now let's think about this. If this is 60 degrees, that means that this guy right here has to be 30 degrees, right? Because the triangle adds up to 180. So if I do 90 plus 60, that gives me 150. 180 minus 150 leaves me with 30 degrees, right? So this way has to be 30. So here's the question. If I go from here to here, and if I go from here to here, angles, well, the larger the angle, the larger the side. So if that's true, then which one's going to be greater? Well, clearly this is going to be larger, right? And this side is going to be smaller. Because the bigger the angle, the bigger the side. The smaller the angle, the smaller the side. So the question was, which one has the greater magnitude? Okay, well, L is the large one. So L is the large one. This distance going down is going to be larger. So we know the answer there is going to be the south. South. It's an S. South has the greatest magnitude. Okay? So, pause the video and try the rest. Actually, I'm going to stop this video. I'm going to make another video in a little bit, and we'll go over number 2 and number 3, or 1B and 1C. But stop the video now and see if you can do it on your own.